So anyways, there must be more happening though. There's lots of things. Claire, why don't we start off with stats for now? Because we just had the June stats come out, and then we can talk about the week as well.
Okay, so I've got numbers here for the week. So just you do open houses too, and just want to warm it up.
Yeah.
So warm up a little bit here. Then we do open houses all of the weekend. Anybody here do open houses?
There was one on our listing that had about 14 people through.
So 14 people came through at that property
in Ajax, like wartime home area.
Wartime, Churchill or whatever it's called. Okay. 14 people on both days or one day?
7 total. Or sorry, 7 each day.
7 and 7.
Which I thought was pretty good.
It is good. Any leads for her?
I think there was a few potentials, but of course people say they're working with agents. But like we said, don't assume they're working with a realtor.
Yeah.
If they say they're working with a realtor, they haven't signed something with a realtor. So
they know a realtor, which we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, chances are they haven't signed anybody else. But
so second opinion.
Tashia did an open house, Richmond Hill. Looks like 8 people through.
It's pretty good.
Good.
Samir did open house in Brampton. You got
25.
20 both days or one day?
Just one day, Sunday.
Wow.
Sunday, 25 people, and he didn't get out of the open house till 6 o'clock.
Wow.
6? Did you pick up some people? You're smiling. So,
So this goes back to the old days. When you guys did open houses, you open house between 2 and 4, and everybody shows up between what?
3:59.
Between 10 to 4 and 4:30.
yeah.
So sometimes you're better off to not plan 10 to 4, even though it's 10 to 4, you want to be a little bit longer. So the people in Brampton, you see 25 people one day. So these people all have their own agents. These people all have their own agents.
Most of them.
Most of them say they did.
But circle back to what you said. They know an agent.
They know an agent.
did-
They're not working with
No.
an
Can't go
agent.
that far.
But easier for them just to scoot you off if you say they are.
And everybody's like, can I talk to you in the corner? Can I talk to you in the
Oh.
corner?
Oh.
Got cashbacks? What do you got?
And one lady
So, all right, so they
"Let's go
say-
downstairs and talk." I said, no, hello.
Downstairs. Safety reasons here.
Let's go to the private.
Mary.
Go to the primary room.
Interesting. What were they like trying to get? Just like info on
They were just trying
price?
to tell you the
inside-
personal information and then trying
Okay.
to know, okay, can you deal with me? Okay.
Got
Most of them were yes. How much are you gonna cash back?
Exactly.
Is that what the question was? They want to pull you aside and what's the cash back?
And just assume that you're on like that, what's that?
CBCs?
Yeah, assume you're on Marketplace when they do that too. You're on camera,
Yeah.
secret camera.
So how do you answer that?
Well, I just tell them, my goal is to negotiate the best price for you. Okay, you can have a cashback, say suppose 5,000. Okay, but you pay 20, 30K more, which you will because if you're working with a listing agent. I'm not a listing agent. I work in a team, but I'm a buyer agent.
Yeah.
If this property is not worth for 1 point, whatever the dollar value is, I'll stop you there. I'm not gonna let you pay more.
Yeah.
So if you want 5,000 back, then I don't care how much you pay.
Yeah, like
will
I'll
make
make you
sure
pay
you-
more so I
I'll
can
make
get
you-
that back.
I'm sure you get it.
Yeah.
So you choose, do you want 5,000 or you want to save 20%? And that's my skills. So if you want to hire somebody who can get you the property for whatever, doesn't care.
What'd they say? I'll call you Monday?
Well, some do understand.
So I'm not sure we hold that at home or not, but Samir's just saying here, he's saying, look, you can get cash back if you want, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna, the seller's gonna get his price and it's gonna cost another $5,000, then I guess you're paying for it. But here's my question for you, or anybody else here? Anybody else have those questions when the buyers come to you and say they want cash back? What do you guys all, what's everybody sort of answer that objection?
What was it?
So what do you like? Some guy says, I'm gonna buy through you, or no, I can buy through somebody else, but we're gonna buy through you. You're gonna give me cash back? What's the words?
No.
The reason why I bring this up, I mean, I was talking to an agent a couple weeks back there, and I said, okay, if somebody says to you some objection, what's your answer? Because they're gonna ask, right? So Samir's got his answer. What's your answer when they ask? Is anybody else?
You said you put your hand up? You get asked
What did you
it?
say? The guy says I want to buy the property through you, but what are you gonna give me back?
For resale, I say no.
Because there's more percentage.
So you just flat out say no, or just you reason, or just say no?
It's just not something I do.
Just not something I do. Yeah, lots of people do, but it's not something I do. right? So you
I
just,
give them an alternative, I'll pay for their lawyer.
right.
Yeah.
No, Linda.
I'll pay
does
for
that
a
too.
cleaner, like something, like a
That's just-
service.
Ask them.
No, I mean, it's serious, because what they're saying here, this repeat what everybody else tells them, right? So-and-so got it, my sister got it, so-and-so got it, what do you do, right? So basically, you almost have to have your foot there, your foot down, right? You don't say like, hey, that's not something I do, lots of people do, but I don't. Right? Or what, one of Shiv's good lines is, hey, I've never had a client that complains about the commission they pay based on the service I give them.
Well, he also says, we can, sometimes he says, tell the buyer. So if you're an IT guy, can you work without being paid 1 month?
Yeah,
Tell me.
right?
But I'm just curious whether or not it's a discussion that you have with the open house, or whether you just say, yeah, put an offer and we'll talk about
Yeah, like let's
I-
discuss that.
I-
Let's discuss after you put it
it.
an
I just
offer.
wonder
in.
whether it's an objection that needs to be even addressed.
Yeah, like, is that like a prereq for them hiring you? Is if you
Yeah.
give them a cashback, or can you get them on BRA, get an offer accepted, and then discuss after, and then say no?
Yeah.
Or you can also say, I'm not desperate to get your business, but I'm desperate to get you the right price.
Mhm.
What do you want?
Yeah, okay.
Shiv had a good one last week, but it was on the listing side, where he was asking, I guess, if he was going up against someone that had a friend that would do it for way less, and then he said, okay, if he charged you $0 and I charged you $0, who would you hire? And then they'd say, you. He's like, so you're telling me if your friend charged you $0, you still wouldn't hire them? And then they're like, oh, like, so maybe you should consider hiring me. If you wouldn't even do it with your friend for 0, then that's a problem. So that was I thought that was a cool objection handler
Yeah.
throughout the other week.
Mhm. Yeah, good. The market's definitely changed for sure, right? So I'm glad to see some people are out there doing the open houses. That tells me that there's buyers out there. We are in a bit of a transition, in case anybody knows. So we got the summer coming up here, so a lot of people are taking summer market. Traditionally, back in, okay, what they just said. Chris just said, don't talk about
Don't
the
talk about the
past.
past.
Back in the day.
Don't talk about
Back in my day.
back in the old days, right?
That's gonna be one of my tips today.
That's okay, you can do it. You
can
gotta
do it.
pass.
See now.
You can talk about the past when it comes to the market,
Yeah,
not in terms of other things.
we're not talking to clients right now, so.
Like
I don't know if we do
technology.
or not. Did we learn from the history? I don't know, because we keep on repeating it, so I don't know. Anyways, we're definitely in, well, I don't know if it's a buyer's market or not. There's pockets, right? There's still pockets that are going, they're in demand. There's still some pockets, and most of it's downtown. I find that most of the 905 area, maybe not so much, but downtown it's certainly there. Just go back to June for sales remote there. So sales themselves, June 23 versus June 24, they're actually down 16%. We kind of expected that, but whatever it is, new listings were actually up 12%. Here's the killer though, active listings at 23,600. Last year we had 14,000. So active listings are up 67%. So why is that? I mean, a lot of people are putting the markets up for sale because why? Because they have to. They
Can't afford the
can't afford the mortgage. It's renewal, so that's all sort of good news. That's motivated people. The buyers are holding off for what reason? We were hoping that the interest rates last week would drop and motivate some buyers to do something, but I think it was a flat nothing, right?
Yeah.
So anybody else knows anybody else rushing to buy something because interest rates went down?
Still waiting for prices to come down.
Stuff I'm reading is prices, I guess, I don't know.
I think the prices haven't gone down.
But interest rates, I think they're waiting for like a half a point, maybe even a point. Somebody said that if they saw 100 basis points reduction, that might have an impact on the market. But I can't see that happening anytime soon. We've got Varan here. You see Varan doing anything anytime soon? And what screwed us up a little bit is that CPI came in at 2.9, so it went up like 0.1%. So that kind of messes up the next July, was it 25th? They're going to do
24th.
another 23rd. They're going to do another rate reduction, or sorry, rate announcement. But the CPI kind of screwed up, so I don't know whether they'll do it or not. But then Trudeau is in the fight for his life, so he's got no control over the Bank of Canada rates, but that's what I read, but I don't know if I believe it or not, but he's in the fight for his life. So I think if he wanted to save the Liberals, then I think they want to do a price reduction. Is there any saving the Liberals? And people are shaking their heads. No, no. Is there any I don't know. Liberals are not savable. You don't think? No. How about Biden? Is Biden's, is he savable?
Aw, I think he's napping.
He's having a nap.
He's a nap.
That's the right.
Yeah, poor guy.
Okay, when I talk to most of the buyers, what I feel what they're waiting for is to more stress on the sellers. They're not
True.
concerned about the interest rate drop. They know it's not gonna happen.
They're more
Both
concerned about
companies
price.
upset.
All right,
Price.
so the argument I've got, right, I just suggested that maybe interest rates are driving the buyers, and you guys are saying that it's the prices, so I kind of agree. with the
There are some
prices,
tricky sellers
Yeah,
out
right.
there right now.
but They think prices are gonna come down, and they want people to squeeze, but prices themselves are down 1.6%, so it's not like they're collapsing. If I look at the sales themselves, unit sales, condominiums in particular, even though the unit sales were down 16%, the actual detached homes were only down about 7%. The big losers were the condominium apartments are down 29%. Anybody trying to sell a condominium right now?
It's rough. Yes.
Is it rough trying to sell a condo? Are the prices dipping? The condos?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the rentals? The rentals for condos, are they struggling as well?
Depends on the price, yeah.
They're low?
Depends on the pocket. Or...
I like to talk about my place. I'm renting my place for 2,900 downtown.
Entertainment.
And it's an entertainment district, but it's got a parking and it's got locker. Another unit came up for lease. I'm telling you this just because you have clients, right? It came up for renewal. I decided I'm not going to increase the rent because the way the market's doing. If you increase the rent, you might chase the guy out, right? So I did not increase the rent.
Yeah.
I'm on the 7th floor, which you understand it's probably the worst floor in the building. And the same unit came up on the 32nd floor, same unit, same suite, no parking, 2,200.
Ooh.
So if you have clients that are existing clients that are paying the rent on time, then I think you might want
Treat them well.
to, and just so you know, I learned this from Nelson, you treat your tenants properly.
Treat them like a client.
So it came Christmas time, my tenant, I told him, take $75 off your rent, call it a Christmas gift. So if you got tenants that are paying the rent, they're paying more than the market rent, then you gotta deal with them a little bit, right?
There's no like a condo there, they're like new condo thing in Washington. And there is one new one, and they're like, they told us like next week we're gonna get offers, and so far they got 4 offers on the 1 bedroom,
For a lease.
but that's new market, so.
Depends on the price point, yeah.
So le-
21, but.
But what do you get up in that area for $2,900?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Nothing
You're
else.
nothing, right?
It's
That's
unique,
all you can do. Right? Prices, the 416 detached is 1,758. So that's pretty high. In the 416, it's 1,388. Prices themselves, minus 1.6%. Condominium prices, though, they're only down 0.9%. So the prices actually haven't dropped, even though the units have. So I guess a lot of sellers are hanging in there, just trying to hang in there, or whatever. And so in the past, I'm gonna go back to my train of thought. We always had a spring, a summer of, looking for Elio here, old guys. And we always had, in the old days, you had a spring market, which was strong. You had a summer market, which wasn't. You had a fall market, which was strong, not quite as fall as spring, but a little bit stronger. And then you had the Christmas market, the winter market, right? So now it seems to me like we're getting into the summer market.
No, the olden days.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the old days. I'm talking about, that's why I didn't pick you out. I picked Elio, not you.
It almost feels like the spring market.
I wonder whether or not this market we're in right now is a bit of a summer market.
Yeah, it feels like true summer.
It just feels that way to me.
It's like a spring.
Summer.
Summer market now. So in the past, last year, see 2022, in July, we had 4,800 sales. July last year, we had 5,200 sales. July this year, we're probably going to go back to the
5,000 sales.
back to the 5,000 sales. So I see that. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not booming. But there it is. Good. Did you want to do these numbers?
Nope. No, you go for it.
Okay, so it's just for the first 7 days in July, which means nothing. Sales are actually down 6%. So it's not much to do. It's only 7 days in July. Condominiums are down 11%, freeholds are down 3%. Properties that sold for over asking, 23% of the condominiums that sold for over asking. So there is a market out there if you're gonna price a property strategically. 31% of freeholds sold for over asking. That's not to suggest that there's bidding wars, it's to suggest that they price the property low to get multiple offers. Right, but it tends to work. Leases are 13,000. Leases are actually up. Leases for condominiums in July were up 14%. For freehold up 4%. From last year. So things are picking up a little bit. If I look at the numbers for June 7th.
July 7th.
Yeah, I got the wrong.
Oh, sorry.
Never mind. But they're down about yeah, they're down. So last year we had about 500 sales. Yeah, they're about
First 7 days.
yeah, first 7 days in June versus first 7 days in July. July's down a little bit. So it looks like about 10%. Good. So we got lots of stuff going on this month. I'm not gonna let you guys go on here.
Have we started?
Negative. Buyers starting to offer way less than asking price for homes. We know that. This poor guy here got a property in February 22. He just sold it last month. He lost $825,000. $825,000. So he paid like 2.275 in 2022, and they just sold it for like 1.5. 1.45.
Can I see that box?
Ouch. Where was it? I want to say
Cambridge.
Cambridge. So this is the outlying area. So if you remember back during the pandemic, was the outlying areas Cambridge and all the cottages and Belleville, and guys were driving. Where were guys driving? Windsor, Belleville, Kingston, all those places. And now those things are reversed. They're going down as fast as they went up. I got more stuff, so
I got your articles right up here if you want.
go first.
No, these are yours.
I'll just do one in the meantime, but you can piggyback off all of this. So this is from Urban 411. I like Urban 411. You guys can all follow it, but they pretty much do like summaries for you. They do kind of what we're doing right now, but they consolidate and scrub everything for you and give you like a weekly report. So in this week's report, they're talking about young Canadians being priced out because of lower parenthood, so lower fertility rates. So many young Canadians, 20 to 30s, are delaying having children or having fewer children due to high housing costs. 55% of Canadians aged 18 to 34 in a recent study said that housing crisis affected their decision to even start a family. 38% of young adults 20 to 29 in 2022 didn't believe they could even afford a child in the next 3 years. So this is important for your young clients to know what's happening in their world. Like they're actually just delaying starting families now because of the price of houses. Canada's total fertility rate dropped to 1.3 children per family in 2022, the lowest in over a century. So this is something to pay attention to. Why this matters, it has a significant demographic and economic consequences for Canada, potentially leading to an aging population, labor shortages, and changes in consumer spending patterns. It highlights a growing inequity and the need for effective housing and family support policies to address these challenges faced by young Canadians. So we've always talked about how the younger Canadians are really struggling right now because of just the cost of living and overall housing. In terms of rent hike, so Ontario's rent increase cap for 2025 was set at 2.5 by the Ford government. This rate is the same as the previous 2 years. And without the cap, the increase would have been about 3.1% due to inflation. So it's actually lower than the inflation rate, which you had mentioned before is closer to 3%. So just as a reminder, rent control only applies to units that have been occupied prior to November 2018. Otherwise, there is no rent control on those. And you can apply to the Landlord Tenant Board through a form to do increases above 2.5%. So I'm not saying that you can't do it, but you have to apply and get approval from the LTB to do it more than 2.5%. Down payment gifts hit a record high. So CIBC analysis shows that an increase in family gifts for down payments. These are people receiving money probably from their parents or grandparents or family as a gift. That percentage is increasing. So 31% of recent first-time homebuyers received a gift for their down payment in 2024, which is up from 20% in 2015. So it's gone up about 10% over that time.
Is anybody here doing that? Is there any parents helping their kids out, first time buyers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to. Yeah, what else are they gonna do? Yeah, so we can see it in the stats as well. The average down payment gift for a first-time buyer has reached about 115,000, which is a 73% increase from only 2019. So that's a huge chunk of family wealth that people are giving down. It's 100,000 just to get into the market. In British Columbia, the average gift is 200,000. In Ontario, it's about 128,000. So it's a lot more in British Columbia than Ontario, but it's still very high. 12% of upsizing homeowners has also received family financial help, averaging in 167 annually. So this is like not first-time home buyers. These are families' secondary homes. So once they've had kids or going into bigger homes, the family is still gifting them money for their down payment in the thought that this is now family generational wealth. It's not just about that one sibling, it's about the entire family portfolio now.
I'm seeing a lot of that happen for the deposits. Because
Mhm.
they didn't realize that they needed deposits
Within
to
24
sell
hours?
their first house to
Yeah.
buy the next. So I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot of parents coming through for that deposit that they need when they get an accepted offer.
Yeah, fair. So these are some of Ontario's most affordable cities for home buyers if you're looking outside the GTA. So here are some cities to consider. If you've got clients that can't afford to be in the city anymore, you can try to do referral business in these cities. Sault Ste. Marie, 240,000. I don't know how desirable of a place that is to live, but it's definitely a lot cheaper. Thunder Bay, 270,000. Sudbury, North Bay, and Windsor. So probably Windsor would be the most attainable out of that list. Otherwise, you're going pretty far north to get into a more affordable city. And that's it for the quick summary of urban 4.1. Do you have anything you want to jump off from that? Gifts, condo market. I know you had some stuff on.
Just want to talk about property taxes. Talking about Sault Ste. Marie. What was the average price in Sault Ste. Marie?
Like 270 or 240?
240.
240.
We do have referral partners in all of those
That's right.
locations.
Who here lives in Toronto here? Who's got Toronto real estate? And you pay taxes, right?
Mhm.
Anybody here own property in Toronto?
See a few. Scarborough.
All right, most people outside Toronto? Seriously.
I think a lot Durham. North
Anyway,
Bay.
so everybody knows the taxes, $1 million property in Toronto, the taxes are. Them gone here. $1 million, if you had $1 million assessed property, $1 million property, the taxes in Toronto would be what, $6,000? 60 or 63%? Yeah, about $6,000. Okay, in Sault Ste. Marie, where the average price was, what'd you say, 347?
240.
$240.
Average $1 million property in Sault Ste. Marie, the taxes are $17,800.
Suicide, buddy.
Yeah.
17,000.
17,000. So
So you save on the purchase price, but not in
So
taxes.
here's the logic, okay? So you still have to pay the doctors the same amount in Sault Ste. Marie that you have to pay them in Toronto. You still have to pay all the laborers, all the guys at building property. You still have to pay them the same salary in Sault Ste. Marie as you do Toronto. The only thing different is the land value. So if the land value, if the property's only $250,000, then they have to jack up the taxes to pay for all
Still
the
go.
police and everybody else. So
Good point.
Well, even when you think about Oshawa as the most expensive property taxes in Durham and probably the cheapest
so
housing.
here's funny. So Oshawa is high as well.
Mhm.
Sault Ste. Marie's high. Hamilton's $14,000.
North Bay's went up
And,
too.
and the one thing that these things all have in common, those three anyway, Sault Ste. Marie, Hamilton, Windsor, is they all have big manufacturers.
Mm.
They have General Motors, they have Ford, they have big manufacturers, and the cities have to pay those guys to have the factories in there, and that's why everybody else has to suck up the
So
taxes.
it's a good note. So if your clients are moving out there, make sure they're planning for their like annual budget, not just that sort of mortgage piece.
I thought that was curious.
It is good, yeah.
Sault Ste. Marie, Oshawa, Windsor.
Sault Ste. Marie, Oshawa, Windsor, Hamilton, there's all one big manufacturer, right?
North Bay.
North Bay is more military.
They increased theirs though, or they just got announced that they're doing the same for the $1 million properties.
Anyway, mine's less about news, but more about pricing properties right now. So when you guys are talking to your sellers and you're trying to manage their expectations about prices, how are you talking to them? If they're going to tell you they want their 2022 price, so what do you tell them about prices today? It's challenging, right? So what we're doing is prepping them for price reductions right in that listing presentation.
Yeah.
So we might agree with them in that presentation to get the listing, and we don't honestly know. You don't ever know until you put it out to the market, because it's gonna be determined what buyers want to pay. So what we'll usually say is we'll try out your price, but we're gonna know very quickly with showings and feedback if we need to reduce it. And in 21 days, if we haven't got an offer, we're gonna have a conversation with you about a price improvement. So we're recommending talk about it right now in your listing presentation, so that in 21 days they're not mad at you when you bring it up.
Because we've seen some agents losing at their listing appointment to another agent that's telling them a higher price. And usually they're like all okay, because they're like, well, I'm not gonna take an overpriced listing, but then that agent usually does end up getting the price reductions from those clients. So at the end of the day, they're still getting paid. We're noticing that more people are gonna try the higher price, and then you just have to be strong enough to have that conversation that we're gonna do a price reduction if we don't see this. And then the buyer or the sellers are usually on your page, so just have to be upfront about that.
This person, she is a former cast member of $1 Million Listing New York. I don't really know who she is, but anyways, she's did an article.
She's
You know
on,
her?
she was on $1 Million Listing.
Yeah, that's
with Sirhan.
you know, okay, so is she with Sirhan now?
She
or-
wasn't, but they were on the show together.
Okay, so Kristen Jordan, she's talking about how to negotiate 10 to 20% off the listing price. So this is now you're on the buyer side, sellers being greedy, they're asking for a price, so now you're negotiating on the buyer side. So she is suggesting to start with the kitchen when you're negotiating, because the kitchen is the most desirable thing. It's what everybody looks for. They all want an updated modern kitchen. It's the most used spot in the house. So she's saying start there when you're deciding if the price is fair or not. Take a look at the finishes, the upgrades, the overall look of it. And if you're trying to negotiate, start with the kitchen. And then when you're going to the listing agent, you're going to say the kitchen needs X, it needs new appliances. That's the easiest place to start negotiating your price down. And once you've talked about sort of the kitchen, then you can go into the bathrooms and sort of those things. But the kitchen is sort of that starting place when you're negotiating. And she's saying that you can get 10 to 20% off of the listing price just by focusing on the kitchen alone, and each other sort of room after that is different. Because in a bedroom, you're really only looking at floors, windows, things like that, maybe space. But the kitchen is where the appliances are, where the renovations are, where everybody sort of wants that like entertaining vibe, where they're going to spend most of their time. So she's saying start with the kitchen and then go down into the bathrooms, and hopefully you can negotiate something good for your buyers. And you will be negotiating because you're in a buyer's market right now. So that's sort of another skill that we've got to hone in on right now. Anything you want to jump off in there? Mine are only rules and really boring stuff from here on out. So we
Okay,
should
so
get through it quickly so we can get to Katelyn.
I have some markings.
Okay.
All right, let me just do my stuff. Okay, so we're talking about Mississauga board, Mississauga board, and two other boards. London's going to be one of them, but London knocked out. But what they want to do is they're trying to amalgamate different boards. So this is Mississauga, Simcoe, and I think Waterloo, and they decided they're going to join together and amalgamate all the boards together, but they're going to still stay with ITSO for some reason. And the agents a couple weeks ago had the special meetings, what they call SGM meeting, special general meeting, and say no, they don't want ITSO. They want to look at prop tax. They want to look at Trump. But Mississauga board decided to go forward anyways, and so now they joined this what they call a cornerstone. So all these three different boards are going to be called cornerstone, and those agents then will have access to the ITSO. But I think what's going to happen is what they said here is it's just not the MLS system that they're concerned about. It's the whole CEO and HR and all this buildings and so on and so forth. So they're amalgamating all their expenses there. I suspect by this time this year, I bet they probably also join PropTex. I can't see any reason why ITSO is going to survive. I think
No.
with the PropTex is going to probably take all these things over. Generating business. I guess you're going to talk about that, right? Give those two.
Not so much generating business. Thanks.
Government's trying to crack down on predatory lending. We just got a deal right now where predatory lender lent client house. The client's parents passed away. They sold the family home. This buyer got 300 grand or something there, and they bought a condominium. Never made a single payment on the equity loan. It's an equity loan. So now it's been a year now since they've been there, or 2 years, whatever. Now the equity lender wants the money back, and this guy can't afford it. So basically, the predatory lender knew that this person would never pay for this mortgage. So the whole idea was for them to take the property away from them. It's called predatory lending. You know what I'm talking about there? I'm looking around here. So this person here, his parents died unfortunately, but he never worked. He didn't have a regular job, but somehow he bought a place because somebody gave him money and now he can't afford to renew. So that's a hard little thing. So right now, the government is changing the criminal rate of interest to 35% rather than 48. Used to be 48% was the maximum that these guys could charge. Now it's going to be 35%, but that's the face value of the interest itself. They can still charge their 1% finder's fee. They can still charge their other fees too. So they can still jack it up to 60, whatever they want to do. So that's the government trying to protect ourselves, right?
While you're on the topic of mortgages, can you talk about what we saw in Facebook hacks group with the writ of possession? And if they see that, what that means and what they should do?
Okay, so if you've got a client that's in trouble, maybe not making their payments, lost their job, whatever reason might be, the last thing or the worst thing they could do is not communicate with the lenders to try to talk about some type of payment plan or some type of option or whatever the plan is. The lender says, okay, you haven't made your payments for 3 months. What's your plan? If you don't talk to them, then they're going to start doing the power sale. But anyway, so once you've missed your payment for, I think it's 30 days or more, then the bank can then send you a letter asking you a demand payment, like for the balance of the outstanding mortgage. Grant, can you correct me if I got these wrong? So if the guy's not made the payments for 30 days, they can demand the full payment. If they don't get the full payment after 15 days, then they can start doing the power sale proceedings. Meaning the guy gets a chance to go to court, needs to talk about it, defend it. If he doesn't defend it, which most cases they don't, then he gets what's called a writ of possession. Writ of possession means it's gone through the process, and now the lender can get access to the property. Takes the writ of possession, gives it to the sheriff. The sheriff then goes, knocks on the guy's door, says, "When are you leaving?" The guy says, "I don't know." He says, "You're leaving today." And then they kick him out, and that's the end of that. Then you put it in the market and you sell it under power sale. Used to be for the old folks there, used to be right of redemption. So the seller had the right of redemption up to closing. So you'd sell the power sale, and if the seller somehow got money the last day, he could give the money the last day to closing, and they could close the deal. But what's going on today is a little bit different. Once the banks have control of the property, have the key, and they have possession of the property, then the chances of the owner being able to redeem are very, very, very slim. Because they don't have access to the property, nobody can see it, no buyer can see it, nobody can go into the property, it's not there. So, and I'm not sure, do you know legally, can they redeem can they still redeem?
I think they can.
I think they can, but the chance that once they take them,
Still have the right to redeem?
I think they still have the right to redeem, but the, right, but once the bank sells it firm, there's no right to redemption. So I'll go with that.
And I'm also seeing a lot of tenants stuck in this situation. A lot of landlords.
Sure, yeah. So they gotta go.
The tenants are calling me and say, "What can you do? Like, live in the property."
I think the bank has just got themselves a tenant.
Yeah.
They have to.
Under
They
LTV.
have-
Oh, yeah.
They can't, used to be they could kick the tenant out,
Not
you
anymore.
can't do that now.
You gotta keep it.
How about the tenant, if you have a lease for a year? And you paid it in advance for the year. Are they protected against
I think so, yeah.
bankruptcy or against?
Yeah, nobody can kick them out.
So it's okay to pay 1 year in advance
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
decide.
Now, what's
Then
some,
they become a landlord.
yeah, so what's some smart guys
So
will
let
do?
they become a landlord.
Then it become landlord.
What smart guys do, they'll say, well, I'll get my brother in here and I'll lease it to him for $1 a year. Right? And now he's a tenant for $1 a year,
Oh.
right? That's, the courts don't go for that.
Mm.
But it could be for $2,000 for a $4,000 property. Then all of a sudden now it gets kind of gray a little bit, right? Is it the market or not the market? But for your builder guys, I'm surprised that the Ontario government came in and said to everybody, it was Toronto, Ontario, it's Ontario. Oh, it could have been Toronto. Anyways, doesn't matter. They said you can now build what, 6plex on major streets? And you can do rezoning to try to get high density. I'm looking at, is it Toronto? I'm looking at something. It's Toronto, okay. So this property here I'm looking at, it's Whitby, but it's the same idea. This lot here, this property is on a lot that is 9,600 square feet. Looking at the buildings there, 9,600 square feet, so it's not, it's a quarter of an acre, right? Listed for sale for $1.3 million. What they're saying here is that they have approval to build a 17-unit residential unit on that building, on that lot. That, I'm looking, is everybody, yeah, what's the problem? Doesn't it seem like a lot on a small little lot, it'd be like a 50-foot by, I don't know, 100-foot,
No.
be about 100,
Acre is 100 by.
yeah, but like 100 by 100, right? 100 by 100. Maybe.
10,000 square feet is 100 by 100.
So if you got some clients on the main street, and this street's on John Street in Whitby. Anyway, so if you got clients out there that are sitting on big lots of land on a major street, the way they have changed things a little bit, and it might be more valuable now. Wanna do that one?
No, that one looks scary. I'm not, I'm all positive. I'm all like, yeah.
We're the positive new people.
Tenants alleged
Not
that
unlocking new fears over here.
14 people were trapped in an elevator in a building downtown. Guess which
Yikes.
building?
Ooh, ice towers.
Correct.
Nice.
Is it ice tower?
I also didn't
That
know
was my first
that was
guess.
a word, sketchiest. That's a word I.
That's funny.
Yeah, it says it says 14 people are trapped in an elevator of Toronto's sketchiest condo.
Okay, why were 14 people in an elevator?
That's
guys?
a lot
Like,
of people in one elevator.
Because,
You know why?
because
Because probably broke it.
it was the only one that was working.
Yeah. They're like, screw it, it's like 70 floors. I'm getting in. Oh, it's too bad because that's such a great location for a condo, and it's too bad that it's that bad.
All right, so now I'm getting all the bad news. I'm gonna keep going. Rico insurance is due this
Uh-oh.
month, $500,
Yes, you took that. August 23rd.
August 23rd, so it's not this month.
Nick, you pay it as soon as possible, so you're not thinking about it.
And then you got your Rico, your run
Mhm.
stuff. I'm still going on with the farming. I still think you guys should farm. I still think you should, that should be part of your pillars. It doesn't matter whether the farm's 50, 100, 200,000, 20,000, as long as you got someplace you can call home, right?
Yeah.
If I get the stuff in my house, these are the types of things you want to send out on a regular basis, right?
We did bring in a company called Post Now that will do those postcards and mail them out for you as well. So if you guys are thinking about farming, we did a presentation about a month ago with those guys, and they will help you create the flyers, pick the locations, and they'll print, design, and mail it out. So if you guys want to farm and you don't know how, there's companies that do it for you. And you have a discount, I think, too.
Cool. I'm gonna speed through some reminders really quickly. This will be good, Caitlin, for your title and YouTube for your FinTrack and MLS compliance rules to show proof that we've gone over this stuff with you guys. This one's not related to MLS, but your ORWP benefits. You got an email on July 3rd to remind you to do your beneficiary. So it was one step to set up your benefits. It's a secondary step to actually add beneficiaries to your life insurance part of it. So if you haven't done that, just a reminder to do it. Check your email July 3rd. It came directly from ORWP to remind you. And then we did our biannual FinTrack audit last week where we pull randomly 50 files and I look at the FinTrack form to make sure that there is a FinTrack form. And then I look at all the details and make sure it was filled out properly. So 13 of the 50 files I pulled did not have any FinTrack at all. So we've of course reached out to those agents. If you've had deals where you did not submit your FinTrack form, you can still submit them now, even though the audit is done. So if you know on your SkySlope checklist that part is red, you can still send it to us. 17 of those 50 were missing information, and I'm just going to pull up the FinTrack form so you can see it. This is mostly a reminder for you guys, so I'm going to talk really fast. This is the new form that came out in 2024. So if you are using our edition last year where we allowed you to put 2 people on the same form, we were trying to help you out by consolidating it for you. It's actually not super compliant, so we did go back to just using the standard ORIA forms. With FinTrack, it's a federal regulated thing, right? So you don't need to use the ORIA forms, but ORIA has gone through all of the compliance pieces to make sure that you're including everything. So we're going to go ahead and use the ORIA form. So just a reminder, you need to have the proper address. You need to have your name and the date that you did the FinTrack. It should be the date that you've met the client and identified them, not after you've done the deal, just so you know. Make sure you have their full legal name, their address, date of birth. You have to put their occupation. You can say retired, but let's say they don't have a job, just put in unemployed, like don't leave it blank, but put something there. Otherwise you have to say exactly what they do for a living. So it can't just be manager. You have to say manager of X company, or be really detailed. Like what are they managing? Okay, so be as detailed as you can with the occupation. You do have to have a driver's license or a passport with their number, the date, the country that it was issued. All of those things need to be filled out. You do not need to fill out 2 and 3. This is only if they did not have a driver's license or a passport. So only fill this in if they don't have those things. You're not third party, so you don't need to fill in that section as well. So pretty much all of page 2, you don't need unless you're doing it for a third party. The third form is new, where you have to sort of answer questions and give them a rating of how, I guess, how they identify within the FinTrack world. Hopefully they'll all be rated okay. This is the number 1 section that I saw that was not filled out. It's section D on page 4. You have to check off what they're doing with you. So is it residential property? Is it commercial? Is it for income purposes? Is it land? What is it? So this is the number 1 section I saw that was not filled out. So just a reminder to fill out section D. And then that's it. So it's 4 pages for each person.
And you'll go to FinTrack jail if you don't send it.
Yep, we're gonna go to jail. There's only 1 cell in FinTrack jail. It's not like Rico jail where there's 2 where we go with you. FinTrack is just by yourself. So Rico, there's two cells, one for you and I. That is FinTrack. We've updated the policies and procedures. That is in Google Drive as well. This is your official FinTrack training as well. This is recorded, so you can watch it back
I'm
later.
gonna take a photo of all y'all to make sure.
That's right.
So somebody was asking whether or not we have to FinTrack tenants.
What do you guys think?
What do you think?
Was that?
Somebody was asking, should we FinTrack tenants?
We do.
And if you're saying no, why would you say no?
Because that's the
It's not a requirement, but I still want the tenant's ID to make sure that they're a live person.
Okay, here's,
Everybody
okay,
says.
so okay, I remember an old story now. Anyway, so somebody asked the same question this morning. You want to ID the tenants. Especially if anybody read about all the news going on, all the fake tenants, all the fake tenants out there and all the people that are cheating and all the people are doing there. So you want to ID them, make sure who they are. So that when your landlord comes to you and says, hey, this guy ran out and didn't pay rent and trashed the place, you've got their ID. Okay. If you don't have their ID, you're going to kind of funny. So go to my story here. Somebody was doing, what were they doing? They're showing properties to somebody. They met somebody off the ad and they showed properties to somebody. And this is, it's kind of scary too, but anyways. And then they showed up at the house with this person, and this person took them into the basement. So yeah, somebody said take them into the basement. Who said that? And what they did is they locked the agent up. Sorry, they tied the agent up and ransacked the place. And they're tied to a post. And then they finally, the cops came. The cops go to the agent and say, okay, so who did this? Jack. Great. What's Jack's last name? I don't know. Where'd you meet Jack? Well, he called me. Well, who's Jack?
From Kijiji.
You get the point? So the cop just said, you left, you don't know who you're dealing with.
What
So
can you do?
gotta be a little careful.
For your own safety, for identification purposes, we don't need a copy of that FinTrack form for your tenant, but we're saying
For your
identify
safety.
them and still go through that process.
And if they don't want to give you their ID before showing, then run.
It's true. Yeah, you're protecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder for
Just go back a little bit there. And see, people are using single key, which is a good thing. There, Nelson, people use a single key. There's all kinds of fraud. And has anybody done a lease lately and they had applications from somebody and they're not legit?
I've seen some.
Nobody here's done that. I'm hearing it's quite rampant right now. Okay, careful.
So single key. Okay. Open house signs, just a reminder that each city has their own bylaws for the size of the sign, if you're even allowed a sign. You can find it in the professional government standards section of TRED. I'm probably going to do a blast for it today with all the attachments, just so you know, because literally Ajax is different from Pickering, it's different from Toronto, they're all different. For example, Ajax, you're not allowed open house signs at all. Like the no sign. So
Unless it's right in front of the house.
like literally in front of the house for the duration of that time only. But Ajax is not the same as Pickering and Toronto, so I'll give you all the rules. So just make sure when you're doing open houses, especially if you're doing them for another agent, make sure you're checking the rules yourself so that you know where you're allowed to put signs. We had someone in Ajax got her signs all taken, and I don't know if she can get them back or not, but
I know.
we'll try.
So reason.
Yeah,
They do give them back?
yeah, okay. I had a feeling.
$25.
Yeah,
Mm.
okay, that's good to know. Okay, I took a course last week on MLS rules. This is because, like I said, there's two jails and this is Treb jail, actually, not Rico. This was for, Treb,
Treb
this
jail.
is a Treb jail.
Treb jail.
This
Treb
particular
jail.
course I took was for Treb.
For school.
One of our agents forgot to cover their MLS sticker on their coming soon sign. So something as easy as that resulted in a fine for each of the agents and the brokerage and courses for everybody. So now that I took this course, it was a good opportunity for me to remind you guys of all the MLS rules. So I'm gonna just really quickly run through these are some of the newer rules that have come out that you might have missed. So I found out that Treb does publish sort of new memos on new rules, but they don't like email them out to us. So unless you're going in that section of their website, you wouldn't know necessarily what they are unless we remind you of them. So these are some of the newer ones that have happened kind of in the past year. So related to commercial transactions, it's a little bit different than your residential where we have to report to MLS within 2 days. In commercial world, things get extended a lot, things happen, the conditions sort of get moved around. So the rules, they have to update MLS within 5 days of something being sold, and there are changes. So Treb might send you a courtesy email if you haven't updated the status of that listing. And you've got 30 days to sort of give them proof of what's happening in that particular deal. So if it got extended, if it fell through, what happened. So they're recognizing that commercial deals are a little bit more unique than residential. So that's starting actually September 11th. So that's kind of far from now. We'll send another reminder. It's only for commercial deals, so not a huge deal, but in residential, you have 2 days to update MLS. So we as a brokerage will update your MLS status for you. So make sure when you sell your listing, you're giving us a deposit receipt and everything that we need to update MLS so we can do it for you within that 2 days. Showings. So just a reminder for your showings, you actually have to attend the showing you book. So there are some instances where you have a showing booked, you go to the driveway, your client looks at the house and they're like, no way, this is not for me. I'm not doing this showing. You actually have to do a couple things to prove that you did attend that showing. So one is calling the listing agent, say, hey, we're here. It's not our thing. We're not physically going in the house, but just letting you know we attended our showing during that time. Or you could step inside the house. You know, when we have instructions that say leave a business card, that's kind of the reason why they do that, is to show proof that you as an agent attended the showing and you leave a card. So maybe you want to have some cheaper cards printed. We can even do them for you here in the office where we just print like temporary kind of cards. But you do want to make sure if the client decides they don't want to go in the house, go inside, leave your card so that you can show proof that you did attend a showing.
Even now we have to keep going.
Just giving you ideas to show proof that you attended the showing. So you can call the listing agent.
Cancel on broker way.
You could cancel in advance of the showing time, but you have to make sure you get it before the showing time. If you cancel after, no, you have to call the listing agent to do something. You can't just cancel it after. You will get fined for that if they reported you for that. So just some tips is remember to arrive on time. So you have a time window, but make sure you go within that time. Immediately cancel before the time if you can no longer make it. So if your client cancels, like they're on the way, say, hey, I can't make it, cancel your showing before the time. And if you can't, call the listing agent and explain the situation. Don't just leave it blank because they're going to report you and you will get fined for it.
Can you actually cancel 1 minute, say?
Yeah, as long as it's before the showing time. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of mean to do it because
Sure.
sometimes there's families and stuff. So we have to take into consideration that people have pets, kids, they got to clean the whole house, get it ready. So out of
Courtesy.
respect for the sellers, it's way better to do it ahead of time.
Yeah, sometimes I've had clients cancel on me and I'll just go do it myself. I'll go preview it. I'll go in the house because someone's taken the time to get it cleaned, get it ready. And sometimes it's not because they're not interested, but something has happened in their life and they can't make it. So I'll still, as a courtesy, I'll still go facilitate the showing.
Yesterday, I called like 3 of my showing and canceled after because I stopped to a traffic police.
Yep.
So
Of course, it happens.
It was after.
Yeah,
So
but
just-
you let them know you had a conversation with them. It wasn't like you just like ghosted them.
But the other one was canceled.
Yeah. The whole point is that you're not just like ghosting them and not showing up.
showing
You're
up and
just
not
communicating
communicating.
with each other to show mutual respect for each other.
Just a political comment.
Would you even text the agent to say, can I make it?
Yeah, something.
So Rico with this new Teresa, they're on this power trip. They're gone nuts. So we have a brand new agent. I'm not sure she's even done a deal. Maybe she's done.
Oh yeah, she has,
Mhm.
but
done
she's,
some
but she's
deals, right?
fresh.
Brand new agent, right? So she books an appointment at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday. And then she shows up at 2 o'clock on the Tuesday. Right? And then realizes, shows up the property, well, you don't have an appointment, blah, blah. I think it was even tenant, I'm not sure.
It was tenanted.
No, there's no one in the building. They just had cameras to see.
Yeah,
her
it was a
come.
tenanted property
Yeah.
though.
So anyway, so they screwed up and they made a message to the listing agent saying, oh, by the way, I screwed up and I got there a day early.
Sorry.
Somebody made a complaint to Rico. So she's, same question. Hey, look, I mixed my days up. I apologized. Sorry. And Rico says, oh, so you admit that you did not make your appointment. Therefore, we're going to give you a warning. And by the way, you have to take this course. It's $1,000 course. And this is a $1,000 for the course, plus the 4 hours to sit in the course, or 8 hours, whatever it is. And a brand new agent who apologized, made an honest mistake, and this is what they do to you.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So Rico is not your friend. All I gotta say.
So it was making money in the course.
Well, the course is through REIC, so I don't know how that's connected, but yeah, it's $1,000 for this course and the time to go do it.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
Well, for a brand new agent, imagine that you.
An
you
innocent
know,
mistake.
Innocent, like she showed the property, like, you know, but yeah.
And she apologized.
I just met somebody a week ago. He said, I'm so-and-so's showing agent. Because I don't have license. They just give me the lockbox.
Great.
Oh, man.
No problem.
No
Okay, so
problem.
point number 3 is you cannot give a lockbox to your clients. You have to be there and you have to be licensed to show the property. That's on this list, so that's insane.
Something strange happened to me last week. I was showing a condo in the gated place. So the lockbox was at the gate. They gave it for me. I asked for the card and everything. So I went up and showed it and came back. I didn't leave my card in the condo. And the agent called me and said, oh, you didn't show up. And I said, no, it was in
The gatekeeper has your
Yeah.
card.
Mm.
Yeah, so you still showed it properly, but maybe to go above and beyond, put it in the house so it just shows proof that you were there.
And just so you know, just for a courtesy for the seller,
Yeah,
leave a card behind.
just show that you can.
Leave a card behind, even though, you know, there's no MLS rule says you have to leave a card behind.
No.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Always.
And maybe you were the only guy that showed that property and the property's gonna expire and they're gonna phone you.
There's the sales part. Yeah.
Just on that story, the new agent, so the new agent phoned the listing agent to say,
I'm sorry, I
messed
screwed
up.
up.
Yeah.
And then.
It
the
was,
listing
it's the
agent
tenant.
turned
Tenant's
It was
around.
actually the tenant that filed the
Oh,
complaint.
it's the tenant, okay.
And then once it's
Yeah.
through to Rico, then she has to explain it, and then she admitted that happened.
And Rico, as soon as you say, yeah, I did, I'm sorry, huh, gotcha.
There's no like
That's it.
grace of like, you know, I made a mistake.
And
Like,
that's her client.
yeah, it's the tenant, the tenant that
Tenant's the one that
complained.
complained.
It was on camera. Everything was.
Usually tenant does not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Follow any showing instructions. So things like removing your shoes, turn off lights, those instructions are there for a reason. So follow those things. Don't go against those things and make sure you lock the lockbox at the end of the showing. I know it seems common sense. A lot of people
You know, a
don't
lot
do
of
this.
people
So
don't check the
They don't-
door.
Yeah.
The back
Don't
doors.
check the doors,
Yeah.
if it's locked.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it happens so many
A
times.
lot.
with the door.
Yeah, so I know you're in a
Somebody
rush.
starts the door.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know you're in a rush. Clients are there. You're on to the next thing, but pay attention. These are like important things. The showing is a important sort of strategy. We talked about what happens if you cannot make it. The fine, this is a TREB thing, not RICO, $600 fine for not going to the appointment or not canceling it on time. And I was in class with people who have done this. Okay, suspensions and terminations. You know that there's a difference, right? Suspending is putting it on hold. It's still active. It's just on hold. You can't do showing. So terminated is terminating it, canceling it altogether. So if you're doing a cancel relist, you have to terminate it and then do a new one. So don't suspend it and then do a new one, because then you're going to have 2 listings and that will be in violation of MLS rules. Any changes, any material changes need to be supported by amendments. So back in the day, this is your back in the day thing, people used to make changes in their listings like all over so that it would show fresh in your prospect search. It would show up in your new listings. That was sort of a thing, and MLS caught on to that. They had more complaints about that than they had ever. So I think a couple of years ago, it's not a new thing, but they changed it to you need to have an amendment to make material changes. So you can't just change things in the listing so that it shows up in the fresh new prospect listing. So
Change closing date, that would. show up.
that's pretty material. So you need to do an amendment to do that. And then you probably have to email TREB to manually change a closing date, but this is when it's active live. It's not even sold yet, right? So
You can't change yourself.
You can change it, but you need an amendment to support the change. So you can't just go on and
Oh, you
make
have to amend
changes.
the document.
Sure, amendment's fine. If you do an amendment, you can make your changes. So the whole point is that you're not
Does
just
that
going
go
and
up
changing.
Next day, that new listing.
No, they did change the rules. So the only things that will now show up in the new today's listings are like prices, status, main things. So back in the day, you could put like a comma in something or little things, and that would prompt a new change. That doesn't happen anymore anyways. But the main point is if you're making material changes, you need to do an amendment. Immaterial changes would be like correcting a spelling mistake or doing something that doesn't impact like the listing. That's immaterial. You can make corrections like that, but anything material needs to have an amendment that supports it. This is a bit unique. I never thought about this one. I know, I'll hurry up. I'm so sorry. When you're doing so each listing has to sort of match that contract. So you can't say things like adjacent lot available, parking available for this price, things that are not related to that listing. So you need to have a listing per item that you're selling. And so, for example, if you had a lease that was furnished and unfurnished, you can't say available, also furnished or unfurnished. You'd have to do 2 other listings, one for furnished and one for unfurnished. And you can't say things like call listing broker for more info, contact me for a showing, go here. Those type of things cannot be in client remarks. And I'll save these ones. I think I'll let Katelyn do her thing.
I'll just skip most of this stuff's more important than time management.
Okay, this is just to show you. So there's new fields in MLS you might have noticed. So when you're doing things like a freehold, you have to put foundation, HST. There are things that are not on the MLS data form. So you're probably getting an email from the girl saying, we're missing this information. So they are working on a new form, but they have done something interesting in the meantime where the girls can actually draft up your listing and create a preview. So if you do want to save time, I'm not recommending it yet as a process. We'll see how it goes, but technically in theory, you could draft your own listing in MLS and send the preview draft to your client to sign. So you avoid doing the MLS data form. It's already in MLS. They still sign off to the details because they're signing off to the actual draft, but it could save you some time from actually doing a MLS form and then putting it in MLS anyways. I don't want to screw up your current processes, so I'm recommending still do your MLS data forms.
So that means
but-
you can get a blank form signed at that time.
You wouldn't do a blank form. You'll draft it in MLS first, and then you'll do a PDF, and it's got a spot on the bottom for your client to sign.
That would be after the listing has been signed.
After the
After
listing
the agreement is signed. Yes, exactly.
So it's like replacing the data form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not ready to replace
Do
it
we
fully
need-
yet, but
We still need to get the.
no, this will replace the data
So we
form.
don't need to get it signed in the first place.
You do need to get it
Still have to sign
signed.
it.
You can't go live until it's signed. Yeah, the client still needs to identify. So that's why I said, I'm not gonna screw up your process yet, but there are some cases where it could make sense. I'm gonna leave this one for next time. That's okay. So let's do fun stuff with Katelyn.
I'm not gonna go into the coaching
sorry.
because we're already like 2 o'clock.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That stuff we just did time management this morning with the coaching session. We're clearly not managing our time very well today. So, but I'm gonna skip all that and just talk about what we're gonna do this month. Actually, I'll go into this because Claire did just put this on my table about 96% of home buyers use the internet to search for a home, which I think we all know they're all online. I had some coffee thoughts this weekend while I was sitting on my porch about kind of this topic.
Enjoying your mortgage?
I was enjoying my mortgage, yeah. But I was noticing like this weekend, I was talking to multiple clients and I had one client DM'd me on Facebook Messenger, one was on Instagram, one was text, and one was email. And it got me to thinking about how important it is to not only be posting on all of these different platforms, everyone's always talking about social media and all that, but to also be like accessible on all of these platforms. So I notice a lot of agents may post on Facebook, for example, or Instagram, but no one's actually checking the DMs to see if anyone's actually messaging them on these platforms. So after you're doing all these different marketing, how are people reaching out to you? I even had an agent tell me, I think it was a month ago, they have, you guys know like the Messenger app, right? Facebook Messenger, there's an actual separate app that you have to download on your phone to get messages directly like from people on that platform. And they opened it up or downloaded it on their phone and they realized they missed 5 messages from potential clients like throughout the years. And they're like, oh my gosh, like those were 5 balls that were fully dropped just by not having the Messenger app downloaded. So if you guys are all on these online platforms, you should be checking your DMs and checking the message requests and having the Facebook apps. If you're on LinkedIn, you should be checking the messages as well. YouTube, TikTok, WhatsApp, text, email. So it's great to like, if you don't want to be on all these platforms, but if you are going through the effort, make sure you're checking those messages and making sure that you're actually accessible through all those different apps for different types of clients. That was one of my tips. So that was that
How to
online
check
one.
the message on the YouTube?
So usually YouTube, I don't know if there's messages, but if you're posting on them, you should at least in the comments say, here's my email address, my phone number.
And everybody can see that.
But some people just post on there and they have zero contact information in the comment section. So if you are posting on those, I would say contact me directly. Here's my information. Then at least people that are watching you on YouTube, they know where to find you directly. Because sometimes it's just advertising, right? So that was that. But we're gonna talk about some more fun stuff. So Claire thinks we need to have a competition. We need a contest. I guess back in the day, today that's like the common thing. I guess you guys used to do a lot of competitions. So we're gonna do one that isn't necessarily gonna be like a accountability club, nothing like that. But starting today, every new listing that you guys do, can I add buyers in this competition?
Just don't
Every
lease it.
sale that you do, not including a lease, we're gonna put your name into a draw. And at the end of the month, we're going to pick an agent that gets a prize. We haven't decided the prize, but it'll probably be a gift card of some
We'll
sort.
give you money. We know,
My money.
We know you want money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, probably money in some form. So that's what we're gonna do. So every listing that you guys get, you're gonna have an extra name put into some sort of draw, and then we'll see if we can build up some friendly competition that way.
Obviously, the more listings you do, the more transactions, the more likely you are to win this prize.
Because of the fun, because of the fun.
Yeah.
You do get paid also commission, by the way, from
Yes,
these.
we do get paid commission. So hopefully the commission that comes from these sales
So
is
what
also
day
paid.
should we draw? Let's give it an end date.
I
as
think we'll
well.
draw like July 31st.
Okay.
The end of the month. So just the next few weeks, we'll
Is
do a
it
draw.
Monday?
I think it's on a Thursday.
It should be on Monday.
At a meeting? Okay, we'll do,
August 5th.
okay, fine.
Oh, it's a holiday though.
August 11th.
Do the one after.
Okay, fine, the week after,
August
the
12th.
12th. August 12th, we will draw the name.
And you have to be here to
And-
win.
Like good.
Oh, I like this. Shiv's amping up the competition here. Okay, great. You have to be here physically present or you get booed. I'm just kidding.
So every month, second meeting, every month?
Well,
Maybe.
we'll see how it
We'll see how
goes.
it
If you
goes.
guys like it, then yeah, we can keep going.
No, because if he has to be here.
Yeah.
Then everybody knows.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
August 12th. I'll send out a nice notice then. Everyone must be here on August 12th to gain your prize. Claire says it doesn't matter, but we'll see. Okay, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about, let's do realm training. You guys, everyone ready for realm? You guys got a few more weeks.
It's coming. I'm
It
sorry.
is coming. They
Someone-
haven't given us the notice that it's not coming. Like
Someone
they
asked
did
me
in
last
December.
week, do you think it could be postponed? I
Yeah.
said, no, it is coming.
It is coming.
It is coming. It's been 2 years postponed.
Yeah.
so-
So they've already postponed it. So you will notice in your Systems for Success Google Drive, we put in some handy dandy written up guides for how to use this. This one's the main one. So if you've not dove into Realm and maybe you're not a person that likes to watch webinars, you're not good at just watching someone, we have all these different guides in here on how to do certain things that will point them all out. On top of that, we're going to post a notice. There's probably about a webinar every week that is going to be played. We're going to have it playing at the office every time that there is one. You guys are welcome to come in and watch the live webinar, or you guys can sign up for it and watch it from home. And then on the last week, let's say, okay, so from the 22nd to 26th of July, every day from about, I'm going to say 1 to 4 p.m. There's going to be a manager available on site at probably every office. We haven't talked to Ginny about this yet either, but at every office, we're going to have someone available to do training with you guys. So if you do want some extra one-on-one support from July 22nd to 26th, somebody will be in the office, either myself, Carly, Paige, Claire, Nelson, Ginny, someone's going to be here to walk you through it. If you have any like last minute requests, you want some help on certain things, we will be here with your laptops. Otherwise, we're not doing one big group training. We're just going to follow the realm training that they're providing, but we'll have it playing, and then us as managers will be available to walk you through it. And then we go live on July 31st. So
think
get
July
prepared.
30th.
July 21st?
31st. Yeah.
Oh, is it 30th or 31st?
Uh,
I think it's 30th.
30th.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's a 30th, not
Tuesday.
31st. Okay. So that's going to be Realm. So it is coming. We are going to also train the girls on how to do prospect search transfers. It is very easy. So it will be on all of those things on how to get your prospect searches from Stratus to Realm. If you, for some reason, still can't do it, we're going to teach the girls downstairs. Just call them. They may ask you for your login information, your authentication, and then they'll do it for you. Okay, so hopefully that's probably the most important one we want to focus on is making sure your prospect searches are transferred over so your current clients are still receiving those daily emails from you. Any questions on that stuff? Anyone not open Realm? And it's okay if you haven't. I'm just really curious. You guys have all opened it? Perfect. If you're a beginner, I would recommend downloading the phone app first. I don't know why, but for some reason using the phone app has really helped me use the desktop version, and that's helped a lot. Ginny says it's not that hard, so.
It's not, it's just habit. It's just rewiring your
habit.
brain for it to look differently. It's just a new thing.
Perfect. And that's all I got. And then otherwise, we've got Family Golf Day, August 14th. That is on what day is that
I think
on?
it's a Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember.
Wednesday? Is it on a Wednesday?
Wednesday.
August 14th, we have Family Fun Golf Day. We are switching things up this year. It's going to be in Stouffville at Timber Creek Golf Course, which is mini putt. So we're not doing we used to call it big golf. So we're gonna be a little bit more all inclusive. So if you guys have kids, the kids can come do mini putt. You guys can do mini putt. I think there's batting cages there.
Like gem
There's
mining.
a driving range, gem mining. So there's a few things if you guys want to bring the kids out, and then of course you guys, and then we'll still do Mandarin lunch after that. So that's what we've got.
Please RSVPs because we need to count numbers and give you tickets. So RSVP through Ginny.
Perfect. That's all I've got.
And then finally, all for Realm training, there's the TREP courses. So TREP has
Tons.
tons of
There's no
courses.
shortage.
There's webinars, there's in-house classrooms, there's bring your own device. There's all kinds of things out there. Plus, with us sitting there, we're gonna do the blitz, I guess, the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you got any information in the meantime, if you're working on something right now or you have any questions, then ask any of us.
And I've sent you guys out emails with like all the webinars to register for, but we'll send out another one as well, just in case, or the in-person ones as well for that. Hopefully we'll have some fun this week.
Yes, we know that the energy's down, market's down. We're going to do whatever we can to like keep your spirits high and keep it going because there will be a time where the market comes back and we will all be ready and prepped to go. So just be positive and just keep going and we're here for you. And Netherlands wins 2-1 over Turkey. I don't know if that's a new game or not. I thought they lost, but we got that update.
All right.
Any new listings anyone wants to talk about? Anything at all?
Therapy. Everyone's okay.
Okay, have a great week and we'll see you next week.